Hi everyone, this is Aruna Chami, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, SNS College of Technology. In my lecture series under the database design, today we're going to see about the how we can calculate the closure set for the given functional dependencies. So before that, we're going to see the definition of closure set. So what do you mean by closure set? Means it only depends upon the functional dependencies. And also we have to set the all possible attributes. That is, we're going to completely identify what are the attributes available, and also that how it can be functionally derived from the given functional dependency. So that is called as a closure. So that is nothing but it can be denoted by the symbol plus. So it shows like this: F plus. F is my functional dependency. The closure for this functional dependency is F plus. So if I give this thing, by using this thing, if I can able to identify all the attributes present in my particular relation derived by with the help of this functional dependency, then it can be called it as the closure set of this functional dependency. So it may be here. Here it is a F closure. It may, you can able to identify for if my attribute can contain A, B, C, D, and F. In this case, I can able to identify A closure, B closure, the combination of all 6 closures, everything we can able to identify the thing. So why we have to identify closure sets means, if I want to reduce the multiple dependencies, that is if I want to reduce the minimal minimize the redundant data in my particular database, definitely I have to calculate the closure set. So for calculating this closure set, we have to follow a 3 steps. So what are the steps are? First step, we have to we have to convert the left hand side attribute into a singleton attribute. So add the attribute which are present on the left hand side. So that could be considered. After that, we have to add the right hand side. What is the dependent over there? And also check with the other than the attributes. So these are the 3 steps to be followed to calculate the closure set of the given functional dependency. Let us see the example. So before that, we have to know about the super key and the candidate key. If I want to calculate the closure of an attribute, definitely we have to identify the super key and the candidate key. Super key is nothing but the all, if I can able to identify all set of attributes whose closure contain all the attributes in the given relation, then it could be called it as a super key. If it is a candidate key, is out of all my super keys, which is a minimal set of an attributes. So that could be considered as a candidate key. Why we have to calculate this super key and candidate key means, if I want to set the primary key of my table, that for that particular reason alone, we have to calculate the candidate key. So remaining, your table can have the many candidate key. Out of many candidate key, we're going to select only one key as a primary key. Remaining key can be acted as an alternate key for that particular relation. So this is called super key and the candidate key. Let us consider this example here. The relation can contain A, B, C, D, and E. And also it will have the 4 functional dependency. One is A tends to B, B tends to C, C tends to D, and D tends to E. So here I have to calculate how many number of super keys are available, how many numbers of candidate keys are available. How I can able to identify means, so I have to calculate the candidate key for closure set for all of these attributes along with the possibilities. So first I am going to take a singleton attribute, single subset, that is A closure, B closure, C closure, D closure, and E closure. If I want to calculate the A closure, so the left hand side, whatever the element is present, I have to place the same thing in the right hand side. This is a shortcut key. So now I have to identify, is there any A can be started in the left hand side? Yes. Through that I can able to identify B. So I have to add it in my right side. Through B I can able to identify C. Through I have to add it in the right side. Through C, I can able to identify D. I have to add it over here. Through D, I can able to identify E. That is also added here. So this A closure can be called it as a super key. And also I couldn't able to consider this is a candidate key. So initially I have to calculate only the super key. Out of all super key, which one is a minimal subset that could be considered as a candidate key. So here by using a closure, I can able to identify all the attributes because I'm having only these attributes that could be identified over here. Similarly, consider this B closure. Through that, I couldn't able to identify A, but this not be a super key. Similarly, C closure, here I couldn't able to identify A and B. So this is also not a super key, D closure and E closure. Similarly, we couldn't able to identify all other keys. So I consider the thing by combination of A closure, by combination of all the attribute of A closure, definitely that particular key can be called as a super key as well as the candidate key. So how many possible super keys are available? How we can calculate? Leave A because the combination of all A I can able to say that is the candidate super key. So remaining a thing is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 attributes are there. So 2 to the power of 4. So what is the 2 to the power of 4? 16 into 632. So total of 32 candidate super keys are possible by using this particular relation. Out of that, which one is a minimal? So this is also a super key. Here, the minimal is the A closure. So AD closure also a super key. But out of this thing, this only a minimal subset. Here you are having a two subset, A closure and D closure. So this could be called it as the candidate key for this particular relation. So this is the how we can able to identify the candidate key and the super key by using the given relation. And also it is very much important. Why I am saying this thing means if we want to remove the dependencies, repeated functional dependencies, how I can able to remove means only with the help of the closure set. Thank you for watching my video. In next video, we're going to discuss more example related to the minimal subset.